Alright, meteorologist Dean D. Davison, the Weather Pros, liveweatherblogs.com. We're going to talk about this big storm that's going to be coming up the coast and affecting a lot of areas in the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Let's put this into perspective. This is the NAM 18Z run for snowfall accumulation. As you notice, snow will come across and will then start Monday, Tuesday. You can see, here's where I can't see how the weather service is saying, not really pulling accumulations, but 7.2 inches or 6.3 inches in Roanoke. I mean, 4 in Lynchburg. So, I mean, this is the NAM model. It's a pretty decent swath of snow across the state. And, like I said, 10 inches in southern Jersey, up to 20 up in parts of the Massachusetts area. So let's move it to the GFS. What's the GFS going to say here about the situation? Because you have to compare the models, obviously. I'll pull up the snow accumulation model. And once again, it's coming to the area. See, this is where I think they're getting their information from. That there will be less snow, and we're mixing down here in the Roanoke Valley, even though it still shows about an inch of snow. So we have a big distinction between 6 and an inch. I mean, to me, that is a pretty strong difference. And I'm not really buying the GFS, to be truthful with you, based on how the storm looks to come in. I just don't see it. And this would also drop about 6 to 7 inches in the Roanoke, Delaware Valley. And like 11 inches up in Charlottesville, D.C., right around the 6-inch mark with this latest 18. This is 18Z too. So I don't put a lot of love for this model. I'm going to back it up to see what it had on the 12Z. It's still a pathetically run model. So I'm not sure about the GFS model right now. Shows 2 inches down here. That'd be nice. I'm having a hard time buying this system on the GFS. I mean, it's a model, but I'm starting to have a hard time with it. I mean, we have the NAM saying one thing, the GFS saying another, and Canadians saying totally opposite. So it's rough down here where we're going to see. So in the Roanoke Valley, stay with us into tomorrow morning, because this will be volatile with the WZ00 run. The northeast DC, you're looking at snowfall, pretty good snowfall. So there's no issues there. There's no confusion from DC to Boston that you're going to get good snow. It's down here in the Southwest Virginia area, what do you go with, the NAM or the GFS at this point? In the Euro and the Canadian, they all kind of like saying different things. The NAM model is a closer range, so I'm like, okay, the NAM model is what I would probably utilize. It has a high or a wet bias, but I don't think a wet bias by that much. I mean, I would still see 3 to 4 inches. But also, I'm not in total agreement with the GFS model, and for many reasons. It's just the cold air damming. There's just so many things that could happen that I'm having a hard time buying the GFS model. So here's the GFS here with the on the models, tropical tidbits. And you see, yes, snow in Roanoke. I do not understand the concept. Far southwest Jersey has rain. I would expect some mixing. DC got some good snow. I'm not buying this as much as the NAM right now. I kind of have a problem with the model right now. I just don't see it being as up as it should be. And I'm going to pull up actually the percent moisture to total snowfall. I mean, this is still the total snowfall for the DFS it's still bringing a spot of 3 to 7 inches in off the 18C, and 11 up in DC, 10 up in New Jersey. So it depends what model you're looking at. It really is. This is the 18Z. It depends on how it is spitting now. So let me pull up another global model. Pull up a Para model. Sometimes Para is the new GFS, has more infected information. That pulls 5 inches here. So this is where there's a difficulty believing the latest GFS run. Now pull Canadian up. That's still pulling 4 inches. So here's the issue. I don't trust the last GFS run. So that's where I'm at with that. Here's the 3K NAM, and we're still 4 to 5 inches. So it matches up in that perspective. So we'll have to watch how this evolves. For Southwest Virginia, this area is going to be the harder area to forecast over the next 24 hours. So let's take a look at the models by, and where do I think we're going to fall? Europeans, so 17, 18 inches in New Jersey. That's the latest run. 6 to 9 here in the, and then 8 on the GFS. So if I split this down the middle, which is where I think we're going to sit, I would say we're probably looking somewhere between 9 inches and 13 inches of snow. And that would be for majority of the area. Philadelphia, Western Burlington County, Tabernacle, Medford, and West, and part of Delaware. This would be where I think the 8 to 13 inches would be probable. More or less 9 to 13 inches, because it's just that. And you see the target for our predictor is 9 to 14 inches. There's certain things that are not making sense. Like I showed you with the models, there's some big differences. And then we go to further south, and I mean, I'm not buying right now the Weather Service's information. So I'm going to put the 1 to 3 inch snowfall specifically for Lynchburg, Bedford, up in Nelson County, right down the Rocky Mount. I would say 2 to 5 inches for Vinton, Roanoke, back towards Blacksburg, and your 3 to 6 Covington, Lexington, and north. Of course, it gets heavier as you go far north. And that really light snow would be confined, in my opinion, south of Lynchburg and Martinsville, Danville, South Boston. Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's going to be more mixing down there than there's going to be here in the Roanoke Valley. That's why I've added my numbers on top of this Weather Service form. As you see here, we say less than 1 inch in Roanoke. I have a hard time buying that right now. Especially with some orographic lifts, I just have a hard time buying some of that. Blacksburg has 2, so I mean, that's more realistic to the 2 to 5. I would have more realistic feeling on that system. And 3 to 6 further north. That's my realistic feeling on the whole system tomorrow. I mean, we'll update in the morning. But what I'm seeing on the models, I don't see why, right at this point, why the National Weather Service is calling for what they're calling for. What we will see if which trend continues, but prepare yourself first for snow. I know some local public works are going to be working their employees tomorrow night. So, like I said, I would take my numbers. That'd be what I feel at this time based on computer model data. And like I said, there's reasons I'm not pulling the other way. So we'll see what happens, and we'll continue to update you. Meteorologist Dean Davison, the Weather Pros. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there.